Next up, we have our magic sphere. So this is the end result. We have 3 different parts. And the first one we're going to start with is going to be this sphere up here. So to get started, I'm just going to shut off my rectangular jar, go ahead and create a new collection, and just call this magic sphere. So to get started, I'm just going to drop down a cube. And we talked a little bit about this earlier and how to get a perfect sphere. And the problem with the traditional sphere, if I create one of those, is going to be this triangle that we find right here at the top. And this is going to cause a lot of rendering issues, so we're going to want to avoid that. So to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a cube, and then I'm going to add in a subdivision modifier. And that's going to smooth it out. And then I'm just going to hide my sphere temporarily so we can see what this is doing. And I'm just going to subdivide this something like 3 times. Now the problem with this is that now we have, good topology because we have no poles, no triangles right there at the tip, but we have essentially a lopsided sphere at this point. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this sphere that has the correct shape, but the bad topology up here. I go ahead and turn on my display wireframe so I can see this a little bit better. So we can see we have those triangles up there. We're going to go ahead and hide that. And what we can do is actually shrink wrap this to that sphere. So we do a shrink wrap with the shrink wrap modifier. And as soon as we hit that, we'll need to select the target object. So you notice it's red, which means it can't calculate right now. So we'll go to target and we'll just go ahead and pick the sphere right there. Now we're going to run into some issues here. You can see right here, like we're getting some really weird stuff happening where this is going up here. We have this kind of stuff happening where it's a really wobbly sphere now, which is going to lead to some more rendering issues. So what we have to do is right now it's trying to find where it needs a shrink wrap based on the nearest distance. So what we need to make sure that we do is go to our sphere and we make sure that this has a ton of resolution on it. So we'll go to the sphere, we'll go to subdivision surface, and we'll just subdivide this something like 3 by 3, or 3 in the render, 3 in the viewport. And that's going to be enough resolution. We'll go back to the other one, and then we'll go to our shrink wrap. And you notice it got better, but it's still not going to be perfect. And the reason for that is it's still searching for nearest points. And what we want to do is project. And what project means is essentially based on the normals. So wherever this vertice is direction, whatever direction this is going to, it's going to project outwards. So just like that. And it's not going to be based on how close it is. It's going to be based on the normal. So at this point, we can go ahead and just collapse these. If we start moving this stuff around, you'll notice that it starts to swim through that other sphere. We could parent it and everything like that, but what I'm going to do is just go ahead and collapse these. So I'll apply subdivision and I'll apply shrink wrap. I'll go ahead and rename this to be glass. And then what we can do is we can just go to our sphere and we can go ahead and get rid of this now. So I'll just X for delete and hit OK. Now we need to give this a little bit of interior. So right now it's just, there's no surface to this. So we'll go ahead and select our glass, go to add modifier and do solidify. And then from here, we'll just give this a little bit of thickness. So we'll do something like the default value for 0.01 should be good. And then from there, we'll go ahead and do another subdivision surface. And then we'll just do 1 should be fine for both the render and viewport at this point. And then if we check out what this looks like out of wireframe, we'll notice we still have our normals issues. So I'll just go ahead and right click and shade smooth on that. Great. So in the next chapter, what we'll do is we'll start modeling out the base.